This is Kim and Neil with Geauga Firearms Academy. Today we have a really special video. Today we are at Bowden Tactical. We're going to take a tour of their facility and see what they got going on. I'm here with James. He's going to be giving us a tour of their factory. So James, what do you do here?
So I am basically the general manager of Bowden Tactical, which is a division of Bowden Manufacturing. First of all, thanks for coming and seeing us today. Appreciate you being here. Bowden Manufacturing has been in business since the 1950s. Started out as a grind shop, and over the years morphed into a CNC shop as obviously, the world moves towards more computerized automation. And we've serviced a host of industries over the years, automotive, medical, oil and gas exploration. A big part of our business for decades now has been working for the government, making parts for the M240, the M249, the M2, the M60, and now the Mark 19, all the different military platforms. We got asked, I don't know, it's probably about 10 years ago now, to get involved in making some handguards for the AR-15 world. And we got into that, and then suddenly, we realized that was a pretty lucrative business, and we developed our own set of guidelines for a business called Bowden Tactical. So we do off-the-shelf retail stuff, and we also work with different OEMs to manufacture their specific OEM products for their lines of guns.
That's great. And we were really excited because we are all about companies that are, made in the USA, and then more importantly, it was made in our home state. So we had to come out and check out what they had, and we're excited to go check out their factory.
James, one of the key things that we always look for, as Kim said, was that they're made obviously in the United States, and it's made here in Ohio. So when we're talking about retail parts, because I know a lot of times someone will say, well, I make, 20%, or I make 40%, or I make this part in America, but the rest of the stuff is made elsewhere. How does that apply to you guys?
So we don't make every specific part that we sell. We do offer on our website every part that you need to build your own AR-15, except for a serialized lower. We're not an FFL, so we don't deal in lowers. But every other part that you could need or want, including aftermarket bolt-on type of stuff, is available through our website. We do not make barrels. We don't make bolt carrier groups. There's a couple, 3 or 4 components that are available there that we don't make, but we insist that they be made in America. We source those only from other American companies. You can see we have our billet upper receiver, various handguards, Picatinny rail sections, grips, muzzle devices, gas blocks, flash hiders. All of that is made right here in this facility, along with some other, I don't have a trigger here, but we make triggers. And then, like I said, the stuff that we don't make, we source from companies right here in America.
So bottom line is, when I buy a kit, as long as I get an American-made strip lower, it's going to be a 100% American-made parts gun.
Correct.
Awesome. So we're going to go see the tour here in a little bit, but what would you say that your handguards are kind of your bread and butter, or is there anything specific that you guys focus on?
Yeah, handguards is really the big thing from not only the retail side of things, but from the OEM side. We work with some very large manufacturers in the AR world, manufacturing their handguards for them, and some small companies. We work with a company called Grendel Hunter. He was one of our first customers. Andy Hobing owns Grendel Hunter. We manufactured his handguards and his uppers and his muzzle devices for many years for him. And he's a little one-man operation that kind of started building guns in his living room, and his wife got tired of that and kicked him out to the garage. And, here we are half a dozen years later, and he has now his own little manufacturing retail space in the city where he lives, and bought himself, you know what, and I take that back. He actually just bought a piece of property and now has his manufacturing facility right on his property. Kind of cool. He can build his gun and then open the back doors, and he's got a 100-yard range out the back door, and he can test the guns right there.
I just want to touch on one aspect. We talked about institutions like militaries and stuff like that where you're making components for. But when you talk about OEM, there could be manufacturers out there where someone's buying a rifle from ABC company, but really, so let's say that handguard, for example, was made by you guys. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. It could be. Like I said, we work with some different OEMs out there that they make specific parts of their guns, or they may just be an assembler where they're sourcing parts from different companies and they're assembling their rifle in their facility. We have some companies, obviously, that ask us not to talk about.
Sure.
They're a little secretive about where they're getting their stuff, right? They don't want to get end around it or whatever it might be. And then we have other companies, that obviously you're going to see some stuff out on the floor. And I just talked about Grendel Hunter and some of these different companies that they're more than happy to say, hey, go ahead, talk about my stuff. It's a little free advertising from them, and it's a little free advertising for us. But yeah, so obviously, we working with the different OEMs, I always like to go into a gun store, and as I'm walking down the aisle of the AR-15s, I'm like, oh yeah, we made that part, we made that part, we made that part.
And just to show you the variations of the things they make here, we have something, it's very large and something very small. So you want to talk about what you got?
So, like I said, we working with the government and government contracts and military weaponry. Here's a piece that's going to go on a 50 cal machine gun, backplate trigger assembly. A lot of engineering goes into something like that, all the way down to something as small as a micro hand stop that you would put on an AR-15 pistol. Something like this goes on the end of your handguard underneath, and it's designed to stop your hand from going out into the blast area. And I really like these even on a hunting rifle. I drop one in, and hand placement is critical to accuracy. Mm-hmm. And I'll drop one of these on my hunting rifle, and I know when I lock my finger in between right here like this, that my hand is in the right position every time.
Yeah. Are there any other products you want to talk about that you guys offer?
So there are kind of 3 tiers to the company, or 4 tiers actually. We have the aerospace side of the company where we do the military and different aspects of that kind of stuff. We have Bowden Tactical, which is the OEM side of the business where we work with the various gun manufacturers building their products. We have BYOAR.com, which is our retail side, individual products for individual gun owners. And then we have what we call TacticalGirth.com. And it's kind of a funny clothing line for us large guys. We just kind of make fun of, we were at a show a couple years ago, and Eric from Sticky Holsters, we were doing an interview with him, and he said something about, us guys with the extra tactical girth, and it was like, oh, that's funny. So next thing you know, we got our own website, and obviously we don't make small, medium, or large clothes. Everything is, well, we do make large or bigger for, us tactical girth guys.
So if you want some funny shirts, go check them out. Our stickers, right?
Yeah, stickers, hats, koozies, all kinds of stuff we got in the tactical girth world. Okay, so since you've seen all the products and we've talked about all that, let's go out on the floor and you can have a look at our manufacturing facility.
Let's go.
This is the quality control lab. Everything that we make out on the floor, every part that gets set up comes in here for first piece inspection, gets signed in, and then the inspectors then take the parts, run them through a complete detailed inspection, making sure everything is good to go before they sign off on putting that machine into production.
So this is a part that's already manufactured?
For the most part. It could be a brand new job for us. Okay. But the first piece that we make off of the machine that the setup operator says, hey, this is a good part, we're ready to go into production. They bring it in here, they sign it in, and then these guys check everything out, make sure that what the operator or the setup guy out on the floor is seeing is exactly what they're seeing. If it's not, they ask them to make the adjustments, fix whatever's wrong, and then once everything's okay, everybody agrees that it's a good part, then it goes out into the floor for production.
So you might take a single part and adjust it several times before it finally gets to its final state?
Yeah. Yeah. We try not to have too much back and forth like that, but
Right.
you know, every part that comes out bad costs money.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
right. So, and you can see here, kind of on the wall, some of the different stuff we've done and do over the years. You know, there's more to the company here than just gun parts. We are also an aerospace manufacturer. So we have the gun side of the business, and then we have the aerospace side of the business. We have a coordinate measuring machine, and then we have a microview comparator, hardness tester, all the different electronic inspection equipment.
So I think I've seen one of these before. This is where you take a part and you put it on the table, and then that machine measures like incredibly
Right, so
accurate
if
measurements.
you look on the screen there,
Yeah.
that part that is up on the CMM right now is also up on the screen.
Okay.
So this is the model that part is being compared to.
Gotcha.
And it maps out that part, compares it to the model, and then gives you a printout and tells you what's wrong. So instead of one of the guys taking,
Calipers and stuff like
right, an hour or two to check all these features, the CMM can do it in 10, 15 minutes.
that. Wow.
So we're getting started down what we call Handguard Alley here. This is where it all kind of starts. We have various extrusions. We have about a half a dozen, 8 different extrusions that we use to make handguards, and they get sawed into blanks. So this will be a quad extrusion, you know, so
Yeah.
the quad Picatinny type.
Picatinny rails are going to end up being.
Right, right. We have added a lot of material in different places to accommodate a lot of different designs.
Yeah. So does this start off as like one big piece of?
Yeah, they come in, they're 12 foot long,
Oh, okay.
maybe even 24 foot long. We got
Are they
stacked.
hollow or are they solid? Like you
No, this is the shape of the extrusion that comes in. They're pushed out, and they're, you know, it's a big long process. They push them out, and then they just saw them off. And
What do you guys do with all these shavings? Do you like recycle these or melt them down or?
all the extra chips and shavings that come off of the material, yeah, we recycle them. We sell them back to scrap yard.
I mean, you could probably make a few more handguards out of some of this.
Yeah, right. So they take it back and melt it down and start the process over again.
Yeah.
So here's where we start making hand guards, all down through the various machines here. This is an AR-10 hand guard for the various 308 platforms or 6.5 Creedmoors, anything like that that is built off of the AR-10 platform.
And the logo and everything is all done at the same time?
Yeah, yep. It's all done in the machine. So the part starts out as this.
So what's the time frame? I have this part, I put it in the machine, and that comes out.
Half hour, 45 minutes later.
Okay. Wow.
You see the process happening here.
So the water's cooling it down, I assume, or?
There's also, this is a water-soluble oil.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's a mixture of oil and water. The oil gives it lubricant to cut, and the water helps with the cooling process so the metal doesn't get hot. So it's done in what we call a 4th axis. Okay, so you have X, Y, and Z is the standard on your machine. You have X, you have Y, and then this is Z,
Yeah.
and then that's your 3-axis machine. So what we've added is what we call a 4th axis that is the A rotation. It allows this thing to spin 360 degrees, and we can machine the entire outside of it in one operation. Here's another quad handguard being made.
Oh, wow. It's got some pretty cool detail on it.
Yeah, if you've seen, what do they call them, rail scales?
Yeah.
Where, you know, they bolt on and they have the texture. Well, this has the texture machined right into it so that you don't have the added thickness and weight of the rail scales.
What? You won't believe how like it. It's incredible.
That's crazy.
That is really cool. So, are you guys working on someone's like working on designs and stuff like that? Like new ideas as far as handrails go?
Sure, you know, we get submissions all the time from various companies. They're like, hey, we got a new line of guns. Maybe they might be an existing customer or they might be a new customer. You know, an existing customer will come in and say, hey, we got a new line of guns coming out. and we want a special handguard for it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they'll kind of say, hey, this is what we want, this is what we're looking at, we kind of want it to look like this. And then the engineering team will go back and forth. They'll design something up in a 3D solid model, send it to them. Okay, I like this, I like that, I don't like this, I don't like that, you know, and it's usually a back and forth process.
Right.
And then when we get a design in the 3D world that they like, then we make them an actual first piece.
So would you put, if it's ABC Manufacturing is making this gun, would you put their logo on there? Like
If they wanted to, right. So, you know, this is a company out of Louisiana, Brothers LA Arms. And we put this is they designed this. You know, the owner, Marcus, had a design in his head and said, this is what I want. And then this is exclusive to him. And when we do a signature series like this with somebody, we don't, you know, if somebody comes and says, hey, I really like their handguard, I want one like that.
Yeah.
You know,
we're not. Get it from them.
You got to get it from them. We're not going to copy. Once somebody has, because they buy this, right? So we have an engineering fee.
Right.
So they're basically buying that design that says this is mine.
Right.
And then, you know, we're not legally, but morally, you know, we're like, we're not going to sell that to anybody else. We're not going to copy that and try to make money off of your design off of somebody else.
Gotcha. Is this?
There's another signature series customer.
Oh, I know them.
Another Ohio company.
Yeah.
It's an AR-15 handguard that we make for them.
Nice.
This is a handguard we make for a customer. This is not our extrusion. We do have customers that they already own their own extrusion and they have a unique design.
Okay.
And they'll send us their print and their extrusions, and then we'll make the handguard for them out of their material and to their specification. This is the billet upper that we designed and we make under our brand.
That's right.
Here's our wire EDM machines, and they're burning different products all the time. When we're set up and running triggers, this is where the triggers, the disconnects, and the hammers will all be burned on an EDM machine.
What does this do?
So it's kind of hard to see in here, but you see this really thin wire here, right? It's about 10 thousandths in diameter.
Yeah.
And that feeds through, and then the wire is electronically charged.
Okay.
And it actually burns through the metal.
Really?
Yeah, that 10 thousandths wire will burn through the metal and cut off, and holds extremely tight tolerances down to the tenths of a thousandth.
Wow. And that's for making triggers?
This one is right now running some back plates for some government firearms.
Gotcha.
What we're doing is burning that hole to size, and then this is the plug that comes out of it.
Wow. So that wire cuts this metal?
That wire cuts this metal,
Wow.
yes. That 10 thousandths wire travels around. You can see on the program, it comes in and it travels in a circle and
That's incredible.
does its thing, and it ends up taking that plug out of there and holding that hole within tenths. Straightness, perpendicularity, everything. So this is where we make barrel nuts.
Oh.
That's where this machine makes all of our barrel nuts for the various platforms, AR-10, AR-15, all the different kinds of barrel nuts that a customer might want. So those parts you saw in the inspection lab sitting on the table there, here they are being worked on in process. Now some parts, a customer will require a first piece inspection, and then they'll also require a final inspection where so many pieces, if we make 100 pieces, then 5 or 10 pieces got to get pulled out, completely inspected, and then the paperwork has to go with those parts.
Gotcha.
And then what they're looking for is correlation. They'll take those same 5 or 10 parts and inspect them in their facility and make sure that our inspection method matches their inspection method.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine. I mean, if you're off just a small amount on some of this stuff, it's
Right.
not
Well,
even...
especially in the aerospace world, right? If you're making airplane parts,
Yeah,
right?
it's
We
gotta
all
be
fly.
right.
We all fly on airplanes, and we want the parts to be right.
That's right.
Now here's some AK-47 handguards getting ready to ship out to a customer.
So now, is this Cerakote that's on here? Or?
That is hard coat anodized.
Okay. And you do that in-house or somewhere
We
else?
do not. We farm that out to a company called Aero Cryogenics in Minnesota.
Okay. Do you guys do Cerakote at all or anything?
We don't. We use Victor's Legacy Gunsmithing in Fairport Harbor for our Cerakote needs. So, you know, we've got Picatinny rail sections, vertical foregrips.
Oh, that's interesting. I've never seen one like that. That's
So-
cool.
So when we designed these, I tell you a little story about these. I'm not a big fan of vertical foregrips, but I know guys do like them.
Yeah.
And every one I've ever seen, they're horribly designed.
Yeah.
Right? They take a piece of round stock, they cut some grooves in it, or they knurl it, or whatever they, right?
Yeah.
And it's not comfortable, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
So I actually designed these, and I spent some time not only measuring my own fingers, but several different guys on the floor. I measured the diameter of their fingers, the spacing between the center line of their fingers, and some different aspects of your fingers.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you look at this thing, right,
Yeah.
see how every groove is just a little different, right?
Yeah.
Well, all of your fingers are just a little different.
Right.
Starting from big down to small, starting from big down to small. So when you grab a hold of that thing, feel how your fingers just kind of drop right into,
Very ergonomic.
right, various muzzle brakes.
Oh, nice. You don't want to stand next to this guy.
Yeah. We talked about our triggers that we
Oh, okay.
burn.
And these are specifically yours.
Yes, this is our design under our brand.
You know what the poundage is on one of these?
3.5 to 4 pounds. Little 7-inch handguard for your 7.5 pistol. The little 9mm AR pistols, yeah. There's our adjustable gas block.
Oh, it's adjustable.
Yeah, so up here up front is the adjustment screw, and then on the side is the lockdown.
Now, are these parts that you're showing me something that can be bought retail? Like I could just
Yes.
go out and buy them?
Yes, we have a retail website. It's byoar.com, and anybody can go on there and buy one part if they want to buy one part. We have displays. One of them's boxed up over there right now. We have about around the country, somewhere around 150 of our stand-up displays in various gun stores around the country.
Actually, that's how this whole thing got started, because I was at Victor's,
Okay, saw the display.
and I'm like, who are these guys? Because then I saw it said, you know, made in America, and I'm like, we're always trying to find, obviously, first and foremost, American-made products. And then, if it's possible, one thing better if it's in Ohio.
Right.
So once I saw those, I'm like, I gotta get a hold of these guys somehow.
So this is the another assembly area where we kind of put together all the kits and bundles, and
Okay.
so we have barrel nuts being assembled. You know, you can see we got charging handles and pistol buffer tubes and magazines.
So essentially, from a retail perspective, if we get our own strip lower, we can pretty much build our own gun then?
Out of the, yeah, even off of our website, every part that you would need to build an AR is available there except for the lower.
Got it. So, I noticed she's hand filing this part over here. So that's part of the finishing process then?
That's actually part of the prep process, where she's prepping those to go into a machine.
Okay.
Those are cast parts.
Yeah.
Okay, so there might be some flash or something on them, or some extra material that is going to hinder the loading process and making sure that they're flat and perpendicular and the different things that we're looking for. So she's filing some of that flash off to make sure that they're going to load into the machine properly. But it's amazing what, you know, a little bit of flash on there, you know, a little bit of extra material here and there, the headaches that it can cause
Down the road,
in the machining process, right? So 5 or 10 minutes of prep work saves a lot of headache down the road. So that's the manufacturing facility.
Awesome. It's way bigger than I
Yeah, big.
Well, that was very cool.
That was a fun tour. Thanks for coming along with us. We hope you guys enjoyed it. If you would, you can check out their website, all the cool American-made products they have to offer. We hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give us a like, a thumbs up, a share. We always love to hear from you guys. You can find us here on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, on Rumble, and we put all of our premium content on Patreon. Until next time, remember, it's always better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6.